everybody. How y'all doing? Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Follow, like, and share. Like the live. Yeah, come on in. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm a little late, but it was warranted. I was having technical difficulties for Facebook. Isn't that something? If you would like to chat up, just hit the chat, comment. Like I said, we're so glad that you're here. Um, Pull up your chair, grab you something to drink. Whatever your goods and pleasures is or not. I have me a tea now. Um, so when you have a seat at this table, understand being served. So welcome to Let's Bring It to the Table, where we discuss how to improve our lives by addressing issues that impact us directly and indirectly. So how's everybody doing? Come on, chat with me. How are y'all doing today? Y'all doing okay? I am. Do y'all want to know what the topic is today? If you haven't read, I was going to do a routine about routines and everything, and I changed my mind because I felt like it was warranted. I felt like I needed to go somewhere with this because it's needed. Not as fine as me, thank you so much. But yes, I decided to change the topic from our routines. I'll do it on another day. Talk about morning routines and night routines that get us to where we need to be in life. Sometimes we don't do these things, but we're going to talk about it a little bit later. But today's topic is we're in our feelings now. Please take responsibility. You only owe you. You get what I'm telling you? I want you to understand that you need to embrace. And then there's my thing. It goes, like I said, I've been having technical difficulties all day, y'all. But I want you to embrace your personal responsibilities and yourself, and give yourself accountability. Because it is a cornerstone of empowerment. Instead of attributing to your circumstances or your feelings of entitlement to others, I want you to seize control over your life in action. Focus inward on self-improvements and change, recognizing that the path to fulfill and empower is through owning yourself. You have choices and you have emotions. But how you use those emotions and the choices that you do, it's all up to you. We're gonna take a little journey with this. So as an individual, maybe you can transform your life. Let's talk about entitlement. Many people feel entitled for several reasons. Could be upbringing. When I thought about that, and I'm like, but did I raise my son or the other kids whose lives I impacted in an environment where they felt like frequent giving what they wanted was efforts or conditions where wasn't, they might not have been warranted, or that, or expecting similar treatment in all areas of their life because of it. And I had to think about that. I'm like, no, I did indulge some, but anything that my son wanted or needed in life, I made sure he worked for it, even at a young age. Not very young, but at a young age, I made him work for whatever it is that he wanted in life or whatever he wanted to do in life. So that couldn't have been it. But there are people out here who overindulge because they didn't have, they wanted their children to have. So what they did was they gave, not even understanding the consequences of why these kids today feel so entitled to the things that they're not entitled to. Then you have the social media, which is an influence as well. it influenced people in ways that you could. A lot of times, people don't understand. Okay, hold on. I just disconnected myself, unfortunately. Okay, there we go. Because it fosters, in our day, we called it keeping up with the Joneses. Hey, Lois, we call it keeping up with the Joneses. But every time, in life, when you're exposed to certain things and you don't have, then you're looking at other people because you don't have. And it does not about what they got. It's about what you're capable of doing for you. That's why I said you have to own you. That's why I say you have to get out here and do you. A lot of times people don't think that that's what they supposed to do. They let the society influence them in ways of where they get the wrong type of message and then they're running with it. Um, you can the comparison with your life in social media is another thing. Stop doing that. You owe you. You expose yourself to different lifestyles, cultures, and you hear all these different success stories, and you like, well, this happened in my life. You always giving excuses, but why are you giving excuses? There's no need for it. Get up, and do what you need to do. Celebrate other people's success stories. Celebrate and understand how they got there. That's the way you do that instead of this sense of entitlement, you know, and the lack of empathy and understanding. Y'all, when I tell you that is such a big thing here in life today, that people lack this understanding for other people's circumstances. It's like we're always looking at how other people are on their downfall and we are happy about it. Why? Why are you so happy about someone being down when people can be lifted up? You shouldn't be that way. Sometimes people have fear and insecurities. You know, entitlement sometimes is a defense mechanism against fear and insecurities, but believing that they are entitled to certain things, but they don't have to work for, or they don't have to, do what they're supposed to do in order to get it. No, that's not how this works. That's just not how it works. And also with that, sometimes it's the reward system. I never believed in the reward systems that they have today, that even especially with little kids, that everybody gets a trophy. If your child worked hard as the next child, and they're doing what it takes and to improve, I think it's about the individually of what you do to impact. It's a lot of things. Your personal perseverance, how you treat others, everything comes into play. Then yes, you get a reward. But to give other kids rewards when they're playing all these different activities just because they were on a team, anybody can get on a team, but it's the efforts and the effects of everything that you do while you're on that team that counts. And people don't look at that in their perspective. Keep sharing, y'all. Keep sharing. And they don't look at this. If you feel like somebody owe you, or you feel like you're in your feelings about something that happened in your family, or you're in your feelings about something that you feel like it's somebody else's fault, the only thing that you are able to handle is what you do. You can't make people love you. You can't make people go with what you want to do. You have to do that. Yes, there are people who click together because of like-mindedness or the energies that they carry, and that's how they come together. But you can't make anybody. So you have to do one thing, well, one of these things, which is I call number one, which is self-mastery. Mastery. You embrace your personal growth. Take responsibility for your feelings and your actions. That's a step toward mastering yourself. When you own your mistakes, you learn your lessons. You learn value. Like let's say you're stressing about something that you have no control over. Why are you stressing? There's nothing you can do about what the next man do, especially like on these jobs. I work very, very hard not to stress about my job, because guess what? They pay me from 8 to 5 to do something, and that's what I do. Whatever I can't get done, so be it. That's on them, not on me. I did my part, and I always go in with the goal for myself when in anything that I do. Even with this here, I could have stressed and cried and gave up when the internet was acting up. I didn't. I could have blamed the internet. I didn't do it. I owned it, figured out another way, and here I am. I'm on here. You see what I'm saying? The next thing we need to do is enhance problem solving. A lot of times we give up and we blame other people, which becomes a barrier to problem solving. You can complain all the doggone time. But why are you complaining? Do you have a solution? That's one of the things that when I go into meetings at work, I really, truly expect for people who complain to have a solution. Because if you don't, guess what? I'm gonna kind of like intervene sometime, and I'm gonna say, hey, uh, what's the reason behind it? Because I have better things to do with my time, and everybody should have better things to do with their time. You don't want to sit there and always listen to people complain about things. Solve the problem. If you're struggling with the project, think about it. Don't blame the team because A, B, and C not doing what they're supposed to do. Figure out why. Ask the questions, and then you can come together. That's even in marriages. Instead of blaming your husband because he didn't take out the garbage, did you ask him what was going on, or why you didn't take out the garbage? I understand, and I know somebody's gonna say something to me about this, but I do understand. But people get tired too. I think that everything works in a way that it needs to work. If he don't say I'm gonna take it out tomorrow or whatever, I'm gonna take it out. You can't just blame and expect anybody to just do whatever it is that you want them to do. You need to step back and figure out what could be done by you in order to enhance what your expectations are. Sometimes the expectation you place on somebody else in actuality is the expectation you should put on yourself. Relationship building, which you have to foster trust and respect. On your part in a conflict leads to making the relationship healthy and respectful. It's not always pointing the finger. If you love somebody, you don't have to point the finger. I don't like to argue. I'll talk. Yes, sometimes I'll raise my voice up, but that don't mean I'm trying to argue. It's like I'm trying to get my point across, and I'm hoping that you hear me. But what I'm working on and been working on for the past year is listening more. Because sometimes it's not about what you have to say. It's about what you need to hear from that other person in order to understand why, there's a conflict. And then you put your finger on it and you communicate your feelings. And then you listen to each other. Don't step back and just act like that nobody's other feelings matters but yours. Everybody matters. Like I said, stress reduction. You can't, and it's been said over and over again on TikTok, that a lot of time men will say they want peace. Well, guess what, men? You find peace within yourself. You can't find peace within anybody else. And it's a true fact that if you bring chaos, chaos will find you. So, with that even being said, don't allow the chaos that you are not seeking or wanting to inflict you or the person that you love. Sit back, take a breather, and find your peace so you both can be happy. Because she might have peace, or your children might have peace. When you come in chaotic because you're looking for peace, but you see all this other stuff going on, you need to center yourself. Do deep breathing, time management, control your reactions. That's gold for both parties. I'm not just saying men, I'm talking about both parties. Make sure you have your goals. When you have your goals, break them down, take actions, make the steps how they need to be, and dedicate yourself to the accountability that leads to the success behind that. Personal integrity, everybody's supposed to have that. But sometimes when you look at people and you see them doing certain things, which is not either wrong or right, it's just that you don't believe in that. Let me tell you why I say about personal integrity. You have this church that for the new year, they had all this stuff going on. They had the hip hop music going. They played the Surface Way, the Walking Out song. They did all of this. And you got people going around here saying that church is going to hell in per se. But in the same token, Did you really look at the aspect of why he did it the way he did? Did you open your mind, or did you go into prude mode, as I say Christians usually do, and you, because of the standards of what you were taught, and you feel that that is the way and the only way, you didn't look at it from the aspect that it needed to be looked at. Everybody's not going to move how you move. Why you think hip hop and gospel has combined together and it comes to a new flavor? You got a younger generation that sometimes the only way you can get them to move and the only way you can get them to get an understanding is bring it to them in the language that they understand. Why you think there's hip hop gospel? Why you think there's rap gospel? It's because of the way that it is that it captures the audience it needs to capture. Point blank and period. You can't sit here and be upset because this pastor said walk it out. He's telling you to be successful. No, he don't have to change anything if he don't want to. If the congregation agrees, who are you to disagree? I don't hear no amens on that. But like I said, it's to each his own. Just because of what the normal way of doing things used to be doesn't make it right for everybody. You can't force nobody to worship or go in the way you want to. I know people to this day, they still do. I know I am a child of God. And they go right on into it. There's new ways. You got a new crew. You got people who are searching God. You can't just preach and hack and cough and preach and run and do holy shouts all the time. Sometimes you got to give life lessons with the scripture in order for people to understand. When you do that, then you caught them. You did what you were supposed to do. You saved the soul, not ridicule. God said, come as you are. And if that's how you are and other people are different, be true to thy own self. That's all I'm saying. That's personal integrity. When you're true to your own self, your habits, I might deem as unhealthy, but it might be healthy for you. You might need to look at that because, like I said, there's no right or wrong to any of this. It's all on you and how you feel about it. And if you feel like it's wrong, then guess what? Keep walking, keep scrolling, whatever it is that you got to do. A voice do not have to be heard. Like I was told once before, you don't have to respond to everything. If it don't feel right to you, leave the room. That means respect is no longer being served. Walk away. And then inspirational leadership. Everybody's not for everybody. A lot of times, people can be inspired by the same thing, but by different roles of people. I might say it one way to catch you, and somebody else might say it in a different way to catch you. When you're facing challenges in life and struggles in life, that's what you do. You go to what is innate, that energy that's within you pulls you to. And when it pulls you there, that's where you go. Y'all got any questions or comments for me? Let me know. I got all day. Well, all night. Well, not really. Just another 30 minutes. Per se, but you get the drift. But like I said, sometimes we lack understanding of others. And if you're not willing to get an understanding of others and the way that they move and the way that they do things, it's not for you. Walk away. You have to walk away. Okay? I hope y'all got that. So even with that even being said, sometimes I feel like men and women and children are falling to the wayside because of them allowing social media and society to tell them how things should be and what they should do. That's not true. You might be a puppet on a string and you're struggling because that ain't what you want to do. People pulling you to do something that they're demanding for you to do, and you might not feel right about that. And it's okay to say no. You can't blame. If you decide to do something that you did not want to do, you can't blame that person because you're putting fault on them. That's your fault. It's your fault. Truly, for real, it's your fault. Because guess what? You done what your heart did not want you to do. And so even with that being said, sometimes we have to change our way of thinking order to speak our opinion. I tell people all the time, read the book Boundaries. They have a book about boundaries on couples as well. If you feel like you need to set boundaries, set them. There's nothing wrong with setting boundaries. It might be something wrong with the person that think you're wrong for setting boundaries, but there's nothing wrong with setting boundaries. But what I want y'all to understand is own up to your itch. Own up to the things that you are responsible for. You're responsible for you. Every aspect of what you do in your life is on you. Nobody else. Nobody else. No matter what it is, it's nobody else's responsibility but yours. So, even with that being said, a lot of times people don't get it because they're not disciplined enough. If you haven't disciplined yourself to understand things and to get a grip in life, maybe you need to. I've also came to the realization sometime because of stress, tension, and the things that people always talking about going on with them, that if you let go, I'm not going to say let go and let God, I'm just going to tell you to let go and let the universe do what it got to do. Because sometimes, as I was told, we can get in the way. You don't want to be in the way of things that are not supposed to be on you. You never want that. Hey, how y'all doing? You never want that. So make the changes that you need to make in order to make your life. But please, please, if you feel like you're entitled, that's not the way. Now, I feel like I'm entitled to certain things because guess what? I'm in control of those things that I want and I make it happen. Now that you can be entitled and you do. But if you're not in control and you're expecting somebody else to do it, don't do it. You're going to get your feelings hurt every time. Now, let me ask y'all a question. Have y'all ever walked around and felt that way about everything that I just said? Or do you feel like a lot of times that the people that you are around blame others instead of taking responsibilities? The Karens do it. They do it all the time. They hit or throw a rock and hide their hand and don't expect for anybody to say anything. There's a book I'm going to read, and I can't even remember the name of it, that they were talking about the fact that, with the laws and everything, because a lot of times people think because of the way laws are, that change can come. But guess what? You have to read between the lines too. And sometimes you have to understand that the laws are on this rock that we live on was not created equally. It was a way of hindering you from getting what you want. That's if you're not parchment paper or flour, colored. They can do it. But the laws weren't made for you. But guess what? If you understand the loopholes in it and you really, really look at it, there's ways around it. There's a lot of people who have learned their ways around it and they're succeeding. They are doing the things that a lot of times a lot of people don't get to do. And you wondering why? It's because they read. It's because they learn and understand. And then guess what? As they always said, they learn to play the game. You have to learn how to play the game of life. A lot of times we don't, but we should. The game of life is an easy game if you let it. But a lot of people think that you can play the game called game of life. But for me, the game of life is just like a check. It's not like a checkerboard, but a chessboard. And you have all the many moving parts. Each piece has a very important role to play. Even in your life, you look at it, and whoever you deem yourself to be, some people think about themselves being the queen. Some people think about themselves being the king or the knight or the pawn, whatever it is that you deem yourself. Play your role and play it great. so you don't get taken off the board. When I say that, I mean on the live, because in this life it's hard. You never know what'll happen when you walk out that door or trying to walk in. So I tell you all this because this sense of entitlement, this sense of always blaming other people, even with the one thing I do understand, and I know a lot of people don't, and I hear it all the time. Well, women do this and women do that, and women always say this and women always say that. And then you got the women saying men ain't this and men don't do that. They think they're so entitled to things. Or you feel like somebody should be a certain way for you. No, 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 sweetheart. That ain't how it works. There was a video that's been going around, everybody been talking about, and some people I don't even think they have a place to talk about it, but they do it because they mocking us, because we're so easy to allow them to mock us and make us look stupid. That video that where the husband took his wife and her friend out for the friend's birthday, and other friends came and they were all involved, and everybody felt at that table that whether it was a true or a dramatic little thing that they did, a lot of people felt like he should have paid for everybody at that table. I beg to differ. That man's only responsible for whatever he decides. You can't demand and try to influence someone to do something that's not what they want to do. I'm telling y'all, you can't. And get mad about it or get upset about it. He only said he was going to pay for his wife and the wife's friend. That was it, because it was her birthday. Point blank, period. That's all he had to do. But the rest of these people felt like, because of their entitlement, these ladies were almost practically demanding that he pay for theirs. And they had a couple of drinks and everything because the expectation was for him to pay. You made a complete butthole out yourself. That's what you did. And you play yourself. And I feel like sometimes with women, when we're talking about going on a date, you play yourself when you go in with the expectation that if he said, I want to take you out, taking you out don't mean that he said he gonna pay unless he's saying he gonna pay. There's a many times men will say, let's go Dutch. It ain't got nothing to do with pockets. Sometimes it got something to do with he don't know you well enough to pay for your meal, but he wants to enjoy your company. I'm the type of chick that I'll pay, especially if I'm trying to get to know someone, or if I'm interested, or it might even be in a business thing. It doesn't matter to me. I know it matters to other people, but I don't look at it as a duty that somebody else owes. If I'm with someone, I'm with someone. My man don't have to always pay. Just like I don't have to always pay. It's whatever to whatever. But a lot of times people get this privilege and thinking that this is the way it's supposed to be. It's not the way. The way is when you communicate. What I mean by communicate, not texting, but you call or you see each other and you talk about what it is in the standards of what you want in a relationship. That's a foundation to start building. You don't have an expectation that he's going to take you out to eat and it's going to be willy-nilly, and then you think you can order for you, your mom, and your children too. No, we don't do that. We don't do that. If you want to order something extra, order it and you pay for it. Now, if he gives you a kind gesture and he pays for it, thank him for it. But he owes you nothing. He gave you his time. And time is everything. Time is one thing that you can't never get back. You can get back $1. All you gotta do is go to work. You can get back the money. Yeah, you can. But time you can't. And that's something that people don't understand. You think that with your time that you're supposed to build up more with that? No, that's not how that works. I'm sorry. That's just not how it works. You have to understand. And I know a lot of women gonna say, well, you got all this conception wrong. No, I don't. I'm a single woman. I don't have it wrong. I have no expectation for the guy that I'm dating to do anything that he don't want to do. Whatever he decides that he wants to do, as long as I'm accepting of it, I'm all right with it. If he's doing something I might not be accepting of, I tell them I'm not all right with it. Point blank, period. Nobody's mad at each other. Where do y'all get this concept of getting upset about things that you shouldn't get upset about? Conversation is everything. Set the foundation, and everything is all right with the world. Other than that, I don't get it. This self entitlement. I felt like those ladies were wrong. I really, really do. Pull out your wallet, pull out your checkbook or your credit card, and pay for your meal. That whole sitting down there with that whole conversation was unnecessary and unboring. I'm sorry. I can't stand behind that. I know a lot of y'all feel like, yeah, I deserve. But see, this is the thing. If you deserve it, then you can afford it. If you can afford it, then pay for it. Don't expect for somebody else to do it. Do it yourself. That's how I work. My daddy said he created a monster. Of course he did. My daddy told me not to expect anything from anyone but myself. And that's how I went through life. It was a struggle, yeah, because of certain situations and everything. But guess what? It built me into the person I am today, and I'm not ashamed of it. Not at all. And you shouldn't be ashamed of who you are. All I'm saying is stop feeling like somebody owes you something. Nobody owes you anything. Not even your children. And kids will tell you in a heartbeat, I didn't ask to be here. You're right, you didn't. I wanted you. But guess what? In that same token, you here now. So whatever responsibilities are deemed yours, you're going to have it. You're going to do how you're supposed to do to be a productive person for yourself. You're going to do it. Because guess what? You can't lay up under mama all the days of your life. You can't be in this house and think you're gonna bring some woman up in here or whatever. We ain't doing that. We ain't doing that. No. This mine. It's mine. That's why all grown folks need their own place. All grown folks need to lean on their own self. BS love. Kids owe you respect. I get that. They do. They owe respect. But at the same time, if they don't like the way things are, they can move on somewhere else. Point blank period. If they don't feel like they can respect this household, they have to go. They just need to go. Point blank period. I'm not saying the children owe you in a matter of how you're taking it. What I'm saying is that you can make it uncomfortable for them, because I remember someone saying that you can make it uncomfortable for them so they can go. I'm not a believer in putting your kids out, but don't push me. I will if it comes to that, because respect is everything. I demand it. I'm not asking you for it. I'm not going to do that. You're under my household, under my rules, my protection. And if you can't respect that, then guess what? And a lot of times kids feel that way. Remember the movie? I mean, not the movie, but the TikTok where the young girl, the mom was having a fit because she worked 16 hours and came home to a messy house. And she was yelling at the girls and telling them that they should have cleaned up. They was like, this your house. But this woman worked so hard to put them in a home where they didn't have to stay in an apartment. And, they grew up in a home that this woman working her butt off for them, not just her. It was for them. And the girls felt like, this your house, your dishes, you clean it up. No. This thing called learning responsibilities. That's what parents are supposed to do, is teach your kids how to cook, clean, provide for themselves within the house, and to learn how to handle a household. Point blank. And these girls, they failed at it. But guess what? One of them moved out and she was talking about how happy she was. I wonder what's going on now. Because guess what? Every once in a while I go to her page and I scroll and troll, and she has yet to say anything about that incident that she posted, supposedly embarrassed her mother, when I feel like she made a fool out of herself. You can't be that way. You can't be that so entitled that your mom is working 16-hour days and you can't wash a plate. You got plates in the sink. The floor needs sweeping. You can't sweep the floor. And she making sure lights on, water is on, so you can clean your tail. She making sure everything that you need is provided. Even if it's just not mom and it's a mom and a dad. Everything that they're providing for you. And you feel like you're so entitled. You think your mom's supposed to come clean your room. I know parents who still clean up their kids' room and their kids are grown. Who does that? When that child leaves, or let me tell you something. God forbid something happened to some of y'all. What is your child going to do? Every month, if not every 2 months, I tell my child that. I drill that in him. Are you capable of taking care of yourself if something happened to me right now? Can you keep this household going if something happens to me and I'm no longer existing on this side of the realm? Every month or every other month, he says no. But his prayers is that I stay. No, sweetie, that's not it. You got to be able to handle yourself accordingly. You have to be able to make it on in this world. With me or without me, I'm your bag up friend. I am not your forever friend. And that's where I feel like mothers fail their sons and they fail their daughters sometimes, because we put them in this place where when it's time to go, they don't even know what to do. They don't even know what a budget is like. They don't even know how to handle their finances, let alone buy groceries. All they know is to use a card and do Uber and stuff and order and shop. That's all they know. But they don't understand that money runs out. We got to do a better job in how we handle our kids and getting them to understand their responsibility and learning this. You can't expect a school to teach your children how to do finance. It's not their job. Their job is to program them to be workers, to program them hard enough to where they are a yes sir and a yes ma'am, a do boy and a do girl. Whatever the boss man say, that is what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to keep their foot to the ground. Yeah, they can kick it, make it funny or whatever, however they want to do. But as long as they work in the hours, they'll even tell them that they don't even have a right to take a vacation because they need them there. Or they'll give them more work, or they'll have them, because that person is so smart, they'll have them train somebody else for the position they know they want it and give it to the next person. Seriously? Is that what we're doing? We letting the education system purposely brainwash our kids into being what they want and not what we were designed to be? The sacrifices we make as parents, and we don't have these kind of talks to where we better our children, we teach them. I never wanted my child out here in this world the way that he did. But guess what? I don't have a say in that anymore because he's a grown tail man. And so if he's a grown tail man and this is the way he decides to move in life, so be it. But guess what? That children need to learn how to move to where they need to learn how to move in order to handle themselves and take care of themselves and be able to live in society in the way that they did. You can't be mad about it. You just can't. You know, you've done the best that you could. If you know you've done the best that you could, then your best is good enough. It's good enough. Thank you, Toy. Thank you. I'm spot on. I appreciate that. So understand this thing, like I said, called entitlement, is not good. And we have to do a better job. For those who spoil their kids recklessly and have out here getting the things and that they wanted, you know the videos. Mama bought the daughter a Tesla and the girl talking about she didn't want no Tesla. Man, the way them things ride. If my parent was to tell me that they would get, when my daddy bought my Hootie, I was excited. It wasn't no fancy car. It was a Ford Festiva. Remember when Ford Festivas were little miniature cars? I call them like the little clown cars. And it just was enough room. You had the 4 doors and everything. I had a little Festiva. I was proud of that. You know what I'm saying? But you got kids today, your parent buying you a Tesla and you being disrespectful because that ain't what you want. A Geo Metro. Yes, ma'am. You know what I'm talking about, Toy. And and sometimes people don't get that. Be appreciative. I know where I came from. I know the struggles my parents didn't have. Maybe I'm built different. I never wanted my child to struggle. No, I don't. But at the same token, his walk is his walk. I can't walk it for him. Even when they said that, even in struggle, Jesus carry you. You gotta walk that. If that's the price of what you decide to do outside of what was given to you to do, walk that. Ain't no carry. You gonna have to walk it. And as the song go, walk it like you talking. You got to. There's no other choices in this matter. You don't get to dictate and say, well, no, this is how I want it to be, and you're not doing the work behind it. My famous and favorite Bible verse. Well, it's not my favorite, but it's one of my favorites. Is a man that don't work, don't eat. We are not put here to be entitled for anything. You gotta work. You think about this. A lot of people talk about the Rockefellers and everything. Yeah, cons, whatever. But they were smart. They set a foundation to where their children's children and so on has been taken care of for the rest of their days, the way that they set things up. And we as Black people are still behind in how we're supposed to move and how we're supposed to go. And it's such a struggle because we're fighting against each other instead of community. We allow society to tell us that a Black man ain't good enough, and vice versa, the opposite. I'm gonna tell you something. What's for you is for you. And then sometimes whatever's in your heart is what you attract, then guess what? You gotta change your heart. If you don't want someone treating you a certain type of way, change your thought process. Stop treating people the way you don't like to be treated. And that way, better will come to you. Laws of attraction comes into play in this. And a lot of times people don't understand that. They don't. It's called the art of allowing. Do y'all understand the art of allowing? A lot of times people don't. Because you have to embrace it. You have to embrace it all. The art of allowing is you improve aspects of your life, and you have to. You don't have no choice. Let me show you real quick about how you can change the aspects of the art of allowing, if you don't mind. I'm gonna try to make it as quickly as possible. Practice your mindfulness. Engage regularly with exercises to stay present and reduce resistance to the way things are. Because things are the way that they are, you stress out. So do your deep breathing, observe what's going on, observe your thoughts behind that and your feelings, and don't judge. Sometimes when you're judging and you allow your feelings to go there when they don't have to, and your thoughts to go there, cause havoc in your life. And when this havoc don't have to be presented visually, presents itself in the body, or presents itself within other people who are attached to you in the art of allowing. You have to cultivate acceptance. Accept the good, the bad, the ugly, and the indifferent. When you are cultivating this and you accept the situation and people for who they are, rather than how you wish them to be, don't mean you approve of everything, but rather that you acknowledge the reality that this is really happening. You don't have to accept it as far as accepting it within you, but you see it. You see it. The problem is that when we see it, we gravitate to it and we think we can do something about it. No. Just cultivate acceptance. Hey, you see it. And let it go. As I said, let go of control. Ooh, y'all, when I tell you this is the hardest thing for me, is to let go of control. But I tell myself this all the time. And you can take it any kind of way you want. To have control is to lose control. And in that way, you don't stress about it. You acknowledge and you release your grip. You identify the areas in your life where you try to exert control, but you got to release your grip. You got to let it go. That means you allow others to make their own decisions and accept the outcome, even when it does not align to your desires. You have to just accept it. There's nothing else you can do on that. And because sometimes, especially like with our kids, we want them to be a certain way so bad. Some kids got their own life to live. I know people today that they're waiting on their parents to die in order to change careers, have waited till their parents died and they changed their careers. They're no longer being let's say they worked as a nurse and they never wanted to be a nurse, but they did it because the parents demanded them to be a nurse. Now they're going to school to become an accountant because that's where their love was at, and that's where they wanted to be. Shouldn't have to do that. And us as parents, that's where part of where we fail our kids, is because we're putting a demand on them instead of letting go and letting them figure it out. So let go of the control, because like I said, to have control is to lose it. So let go of your grip. Trust. Like they said, trust the process. Believe in the greater process of everything. You strengthen your trust in the universe or your higher power, believing that things are unfolding as they should, even if you don't understand it or why in that moment. You don't have to understand. I question everything. I do. I question everything. But even in my question, in that moment, I don't demand an answer. I'll question it. And whether I get an answer or not, I don't. I don't worry about it. And the one thing that I do know that a lot of times, and we as a people, we don't embrace differences. We don't appreciate the diversity in others. Men are different from women. That's why they wrote the book, Women Are From Venus and Men Are From Mars. We don't appreciate the diversity within each other. And we don't celebrate the differences. I don't want somebody walking around as a clone of me. I want somebody to push my buttons and make me think about how I can be better, or encourage me, or challenge me. Everybody should want that. You shouldn't want someone in your life that's a yes ma'am or a yes sir. You shouldn't want that. As I was told, I'm a lot to deal with. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just how you handle it. That's it. And release judgment. I think we go through a lot of judgment from society as it is. If we as men and women release the judgment of ourselves and others, and understand that everyone is on their own journey and making mistakes is natural, instead of saying, ha, 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 look what happened to you, and blah, 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 and enjoying it, and instead of, getting an understanding, and then we putting our own opinions, belief, like I said about the church, we putting our own opinions, beliefs, and our way of thinking on a situation that had nothing to do with us, when your butt wasn't there. You knew you wouldn't be there, so why say anything or speak on it in the first place? I think it was a fabulous thing that they did. Church was full, everyone got fed spiritually and mentally. I think it was a great day. So release the judgment. People make mistakes. It's a part of growing and learning. Every day you're learning something. Every day you're growing mentally, spiritually, hopefully financially. Be grateful. Practice gratitude. Focus on the present. Cultivate a habit of gratitude. In one of my affirmations, I always say, I am grateful and I'm thankful in everything that has already came to me and things that will be coming to me that are within the prospects of me being abundant within grace and mercy. and being abundant within my financial realm in the way that I am seeking. Because remember, I said I have a six-figure mindset that is building a seven-figure bank account. I'm very humble for that. I'm grateful for it. And you've got to set these boundaries. I can never say that no more than what it is, because if you don't set boundaries, guess what? You tolerate things you don't want to. Abuse, disrespect. You got to set those boundaries so that people can understand. And if they don't want to accept it, they can walk away. As always, they can walk away. There's nothing wrong with them walking away. It's a good thing that they walk away. And then seek harmony, not conflict. Ooh, that's still that peace of mind. If you seeking harmony within yourself and you're not looking for conflict, your interactions and your responses will be different. When you're facing these oppositions, look for a peaceful solution. Talk things out. Compromise depends on what that is. Instead of engaging in the power struggle, sometimes to win, you have to lose. You get what I'm saying? Sometimes to win, you have to lose. Don't mean you lost. Most battles, because it's a battle, take a L. Because you want to win the war, not the battle. Take an L. You see, I promise you. And then life will be different. And when I'm saying about this law of allowing, if you do these 10 things, you would easily see things change in your life. Try using the 369 method along with it and start putting in how you want things to be and how you want things to change. And I guarantee you will see. Now, next week, I am going to talk about, if not this week, it just depends on my schedule. I want to get into talking about morning routines of success and nighttime routines for success. Because sometimes how we rise and how we lay down, it gives us a day of completion or a day of chaos. And it's all up to you. I'm not talking about, when I'm saying day, I'm talking about everything that you do personally for you. Your job is your job. Now, if you allow your job to come in and take over your household and take over your life, where you're out here working that and not working something personal. Now, like I have several jobs, but the job that pays the bills is the job that pays the bills that I don't focus on when I walk out that door. It does not come in my house. I have literally, when I worked at home, I've literally, because of how stressful things had got, I will walk out of my house, down the walkway, and I'll come back as if I haven't even been there, to reset my mind, because I didn't want that in my house. And sometimes it takes that. You'll be surprised of the things that you can change when you set your mind to it in a way that is not in a negative component to where chaos stays in your house. Sage your house sometimes. After you sage it, add the polish of cemento to it. And you will see the changes that you want in your life. Because you have to get a cleansing and you have to reset the positive energy. There's a lot of things that you can do to add to that. And I'm a true believer in stones as well. And maybe one day we'll get into that. So, but like I said, if you develop the art of allowing, things will change. And if you do that, if you have little ones, if you start teaching them the art of allowing, you'll see that there's a big difference in the little ones and the teenagers. But you better catch the teenagers too in order for them to understand that. Because a lot of times, like I said, we blame everybody else but ourselves in situations that happen because of something we did. And you can't say because my mama didn't teach me or my daddy didn't teach me. No, you grown. How about picking up a book and reading something that can help change your life? Listen to E.T. I love the way that he speaks and motivates. He's just not him. It's a lot of people out there that does it. I do too sometimes. So get the aspect of changing yourself. I just don't yell about it. But get the aspect of changing yourself for the person that you desire to be. And then guess what? You attract the people that you desire in your life. Okay? So I hope that today this brought some greatness to someone's life and helped you to provoke some changes. Like I said, maybe next time y'all will want to talk more. And it's okay just to listen. That's fine. But I like to interact. I love questions. So, but time is up. And again, I thank you all. This has been an episode of Let's Bring It to the Table from the Exquisite Taste Network. And so I'm going to tell y'all this again. Love yourself enough to leave the table when respect is no longer being served. But if you built that table and it's your table, remove them. Or, as my father would say, burn it down and start over. Because you don't have to, you have to set the boundaries, like I always say. But respect is everything. A lot of people might think it's a one-way street, but it's not. With respect comes love. And comes love, comes happiness. And then there's that ever blissful peace that you see between each other. Because you have it, they have it. And you can enjoy. Okay? So I'm going to bid y'all all good night. And again, this has been an episode of Let's Bring It to the Table.